Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Little River, South Carolina, visiting North Strand Nissan, and I'm checking out a 2020 Nissan Sentra in the SR trim level. This vehicle is sitting on 215/45 hand-cooked tires, wrapped around 18-inch alloy wheels with a gloss black finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors in the front and solid rotors in the back. The name of this color is Aspen White Tri-Coat. And I think today is a perfect day, clear skies, so you can appreciate, hopefully be able to appreciate this color. Really nice pearl coat. So looking here at the front, a lot of gloss black there in the grille. Now it does have this chrome piece, which is kind of a smoked chrome, so it's a little bit different than a normal chrome. You can see the normal chrome right in this corner of the headlight, and you can see the difference there. So the emblem looks a little bit recessed, but that's actually where they hide the adaptive cruise control radar sensor behind that emblem, which is pretty neat. Now there is some flat black here at the bottom, and luckily this is a white vehicle, so you can see the trimming popping out here around the fog lights in black. Now the headlights and fog lights are all powered by LEDs. The headlights are in a reflector housing, a multi-reflector housing, standard bulbs for your turn signals, and an LED fog light. Looking at the profile here, now you can see the handles are body colored, the side mirrors are a gloss black, and it has this little, what Nissan calls a free floating roof, just kind of look like a gloss black right here, connecting the front glass to the rear glass. Now the only thing that doesn't accomplish that, in my opinion, is that the center pillars here are a flat black. So they don't really blend in with the rest of the gloss black, you know, the glossy glass and this right here. So if that was a gloss black, it kind of help solidify the glass a little bit better, I think. Now there's this extra piece, this body colored across the bottom. It's kind of like an extra piece actually attached to the vehicle. It's not part of the vehicle. I guess that's just for looks, but might look pretty neat. It feels black, I guess, in this particular case, but it's a body colored piece. This is what the key looks like, and it's a proximity key system designed to where you can just use the vehicle 100% as long as you have it with you. Now Nissan has used the same key for a very long time now, and I can see why. It's very light, it's smooth, and just easy to slip in your pocket. You don't really notice that it's there. It does have a physical key here on the inside, and some very useful buttons, especially considering it has the remote start. So you just push the lock button and hold the remote start, it'll start up for you. The unlock button, you have the ability to open up the trunk, and a panic button. Let's go ahead and push that panic button. So it kind of has a little bit of a beepy horn there. Now let's go ahead and push the trunk button and see what happens. So it goes about halfway up, so that way you can, you know, reach underneath it and lift it up without dirtying your hands. That's a good idea. So as long as you have the key with you, it could be in your pocket, in a bag, as long as it's within a close proximity of the outside of either the driver or the passenger doors. To lock it, you simply push this button right here. So now it's locked. To unlock it, you simply push the button again, and it allows you access to the vehicle. There's also a physical key location here on the driver's side only. Taking a look at the inside of the passenger side door. Now it's mostly black, but it does have some metallic trimmings there, handle and around the controls. Now, most of the door is a hard plastic, but the upper portions are a soft touch. So you have a soft touch here on your armrest. Now this is the softest part of the door. Up here is soft touch. It's not quite as soft though. And this whole area right here, and here is like a vinyl material. Up here is a soft touch, kind of like a foam or a Nerf type material right up in here. Now it does have the orange contrast stitching here on the top and around your armrest. Now this handle, this right here is enclosed, so you can use it as a pocket, and then you have the pocket there at the bottom. You have a blind spot indicator right here. So some vehicles have it in the side mirror. This one is in the pillar. You also have a simulated carbon fiber trimming right here around the buttons. There's your threshold. Manually adjusted cloth seats here on the passenger side. You can see it has the stitching there. And the center portion of the seat is a kind of like a simulated or synthetic suede type material. It's looking pretty cool. Feels good. Floor mat hooks in place in 2 places, here and here, so that way it keeps in place for you. Quite wide leg room here, but there's a little bit of tapering here on the right side, but other than that, it's nice wide open. Now it comes out and then it quickly goes up, so it's kind of like a big footrest down here, I guess you can say. There's your glove compartment. Smooth plastic on the inside. So this right here is a hard touch, and then this is soft touch. This is like a simulated leather up there with the contrast stitching. Now this is in a French design, contrast stitching here on the dash, looking pretty nice. So you can see the opening for the front doors are much wider than the rear. And also the door in the back doesn't open up as wide as you would think. Could come out a little bit further, but anyways, here's the opening for the rear door. And the back doors, hard touch. It's soft, soft. So instead of the soft up top, it's hard now, hard at the bottom. And then you don't have as much metallic, but other than that, it's very similar to the front. It's just smaller. All right, smaller threshold. And now you have a bench seat, so you can slide in a center passenger if you want. You also have an armrest that folds down with cup holders, or you can utilize that center space for a center passenger. Seats do fold down in a 60-40 split. And the back of the passenger seat has this pocket, but not the driver's seat. Pretty significant hump here in the center part. And you have a USB charge port back here as well. But on the sides, the floor goes down quite a ways, so that way, give you some better leg room so your knees aren't sticking up too much. It has a locking fuel door, and it's on the passenger side, and it has a traditional cap and a little tether and a place to hang the tether right there to keep the cap away from the opening while you're pumping gas. Taking a look at the back here, starting at the top, it has a little bump antenna there in the center, and your third brake light is at the base of the glass right here, powered by LEDs. There's a deck lid spoiler, body colored, that's not too huge, but it kind of sits there on the corner of the trunk. There's your SR badging. Now the backup camera is significantly offset, and I'm kind of surprised that they'd have an offset backup camera. The reason why I say that is, for one thing, it's less useful if you have a offset view behind you. It's better to have it in the center, in my opinion. Also, it just appears to be a little bit tacked on. It just doesn't look like it's well integrated. When it's in the very center, especially if it's in maybe a higher position in the vehicle, it just seems like it's better integrated. But it still works fine. It's just one of those little quirks that I have. There's parking sensors across the back. You can see one of them right there. And the exhaust tip is, they want to make sure that you notice that. It's quite a big one for a car this size. The tail lights in this vehicle are standard bulbs, And same thing with your turn signals, but it does have an LED turn signal indicator on the side mirror. So opening up the trunk, there is a button. You already saw that I used a key, and it does the same thing. When you push a button here, it lifts up about halfway, or enough to where you can get your hand underneath it. That way you can lift it up. If the trunk's dirty, you can lift it up under here. It has a felt lining. Goes up a little bit over the glass to kind of get out of your way as much as possible. And the trunk is pretty good size. I'll put all the specs and dimensions in the description. But just to give you an idea of what it looks like here, it extends there on the sides, and you notice it's all carpeted. The trunk lid is itself, but also here on the sides. And then you have this hard plastic here for sliding in and out stuff. And then under here is where you'll have some exposed metal, speakers, and wires. You have a standard bulb for your illumination, but one of the things about having exposed, metal back here is if you're cramming luggage back here, then that might be an issue as far as damaging your luggage, especially if you're just cramming it up there to the top and it's rattling and scraping against this metal. I just want to keep that in mind. Now it's a 60-40 split seat fold down here, so you have the separation there. You can fold down one seat or the other and add to your cargo space while still maintaining passenger space, or you can fold both of them down and really, open it up back here. As long as you have the key inside the vehicle, it could be in your pocket, in a bag, sitting in a cup holder. As long as it's inside the vehicle, you press and hold the brake and push this button to start it up. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Floor mat hooks in place just like the other side. Here's your accelerator and brake pedal. You also have a foot actuated parking brake here. Your footrest is here on the far left. So let's take a look under the hood. Open the hood. There is a latch a little bit to the right of center, so it's in line with the right side of the emblem here. You can actually see it because it's yellow. So you reach in, move it to the left, and lift up. Right there's, you can see the latch. Now the hood is kind of heavy, so you want to be prepared for that. It's apparently a steel hood instead of aluminum. And there is the prop to hold it up. So you can see it swings up and goes right there where that arrow indicates. There's insulation on the underside of the hood, and there's some seals around the front, but they're not solid, so kind of helps out probably more with noise or rattling or whatever than maybe a little bit of airflow. Now there's a solid seal across the back. That definitely helps out with airflow and noise. So the battery is insulated, and it's very easy to get to here on the right side. This is a 4-cylinder engine. You can actually see it's not covered up with a big plastic cover, so you can actually see the coil packs, the ones with little H right there. Right here. Those are the coil packs, and they go down to the cylinder head to the spark plugs. Then you have your intake here on the front, exhaust in the back. There's some heat shielding and insulation back there as well on the firewall. And the strut towers are braced in to the structure of the vehicle, unibody structure of the vehicle. This vehicle is powered by a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder engine, dual overhead cam, pumping out 149 horsepower and 146 pound-feet of torque, and is paired to an Xtronic CVT automatic transmission, continuously variable transmission. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. Now the power windows are here, and the only one that's automatic is the driver's side. So we can push that to go down, and one touch to go up. The door lock controls, side mirrors are adjusted here. You just pick a side and adjust it with that little pad. So manually adjust the seats here for the driver as well, but it has a height adjustment. So right here is your height adjustment for the seat. Here to the left of the steering column, you have some buttons. This is the Eco mode button, so you can turn that on. Dimmer switch for your interior gauges is here, and then you can reset your trip. This is to release the trunk. And there's a little fuse panel that you can take off here. It's no pocket or anything. It also has a tilt and a telescoping steering column that you lock in place here. Okay, taking a look on the inside, checking it out. Now I have the seat all the way back and all the way down, and I'm 6 feet tall, just to give you an idea of the legroom here. So you got the legroom, and you can see there's the pedal, so you can see that in relationship to the center console. It's a little tiny bit tight right in there, so there's not a lot of like spreading your leg out too much there, but it's not cramped like some other vehicles. So looking at the steering wheel, it's a leather wrap steering wheel, most likely synthetic leather. But check it out, it has this flat bottom, has a really good thickness, and has a stitching there on the inside. It gives a little bit, so it's not super, super rough on your hands gripping it. Seems a little bit thinner here at the top than it is at the bottoms. Maybe it's just my imagination, especially right here. Okay, so the buttons here on the right side is your cruise control, and it's an adaptive cruise control system. So once you turn it on, then you can set, cancel, resume, just like a normal one. But it also has the adaptive cruise control, so you can set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. By pressing that button, it'll cycle through the distances there. And once it's, let's go ahead and turn it on, so you can actually see on the screen the little bars there as I cycle through. Now those bars will represent different distances depending on your speed, but basically, you can set it the way you want it. So the Bluetooth, once you pair the system, you can answer or hang up calls here, and then you have voice recognition. Here on the left side is your volume for your radio. Change through your tracks or your radio stations here with these buttons, tune through them. There's a back button and these arrows with an OK in the middle. Those correspond with the screen between the gauges. We'll get to that in just a minute. Windshield wiper controls are here on the right side. Turn signals on the left, but it also has your headlight controls. So you have off, parking light, headlights on, and then you have automatic, and your fog lights are controlled here. So here's your gauges. It has physical gauges on the outside. So here on the left is your RPMs, your tachometer. Also down here within the same dial is your engine coolant temperature. On the right side is your speedometer with your fuel gauge. But right here in the middle is a digital screen, which you get more information. So at the top it has a clock, outside temperature. At the bottom, this is some of your safety features there. And then at the bottom, you have your odometer on the left, what gear you're in the center, and then your distance to empty there on the right side on the bottom. Well, they're in the very center. Now, if we use these buttons, remember these buttons here, the back, the OK, and the arrows, we can cycle through. And once we get it focused, once we start moving, we see it's part of a whole menu system. All right, so going left and right, you can see these little icons at the bottom, and then we cycle through those. The first one has a little house showing you the home. It starts off with a digital speedometer, which is kind of small relative to the screen. Scrolling down, so you have up and down here. There's little dots there on the right side. So we scroll down, it gives you the average miles per hour with the speedometer. Blank screen, and then it goes back to the original one. Scrolling to the right, your second one, this is your eco indicator, giving you your fuel economy and all that stuff. Scrolling to the right again, this will be your information about your vehicle, so your tire pressure is there, your trip, speed limit sign, so it actually can let you know what the speed limits are based on a camera system. Scrolling to the right again, this is just whatever your radio is doing. Right now it's not doing anything. And scrolling to the right again, this is your safety features. So this is the screen that we saw before with your adaptive cruise control. You can scroll down. This is like your lane departure warning, your forward collision warning, and your blind spot indicator. You can turn those features on or off. And this is your settings. Scrolling to the right again will take you back to the original first icon there. But you notice it all goes away. The little icons go away when you're not pressing the buttons. So that's kind of a quick rundown of what that screen's all about and how to use it. So here's the touch screen, and it has a very significant glare. So you can see the camera's picking it up quite well. So that's what it actually looks like in real life. You know, I'm not sure, maybe it's just my position and, you know, with this wall behind me or something, but it does obscure your eyes. I mean, you can see it, but you know, there's just a little bit of a glare that you have to be aware of. So it does have a physical volume tuned through the stations there, and a digital clock. Now right now we're in this home screen, this home menu, and you can go left or right. So left will give you these options here, and then go right. You can swipe it if you want, and there's the right side. So you have AM, FM, Bluetooth audio, and then USB 1 input there. So your different audio inputs. You can push the audio button, it'll take you to your radio or whatever. And there's your presets there at the bottom. You can change the source. Right here, AM, FM, satellite radio, USB 1, USB 2, Bluetooth audio, and auxiliary input. So the ones that are darkened out are not available right now. You have little shortcuts here at the bottom as well. So you have this button over here for your phone, just like on the steering wheel. And then when you push the camera button, this will just give you the your settings here. So you have the predictive course lines, and then your display settings. So you have your brightness, contrast, tint, and then the black level. So that way, if you want to see in the shadows a little bit more, you can increase that, the black level, up or down, to give you better visibility. Now the little information icon just gives you information about the vehicle. And then vehicle data transmission. So this will basically, you know, if you want to send stuff to the Nissan apparently or something like that. Let's get back out of that. And then here's your different connections here. You got a new one. Here's your settings. So it's kind of a quick rundown of what the screen's all about and what you could do with it. Hopefully the glare is it won't be as bad in certain areas, but it's significant glare. Not sure what the thinking was as far as the screen here, as far as the surface of it. It's like the glare gets to the point where it obscures your visibility of what's on the screen. So that's not good. Here's your climate control down here, your four-way flashers. I like these vents, the way they work. They're easy to articulate, and you turn it right to close it. You turn it left to open it. It's pretty cool. They articulate pretty easy and easy to operate, and they look pretty cool. And there's your climate control. So it's a dual zone, driver and passenger. You can set your temperatures here and here, fan speed, where you want the air to blow. You can recycle the air, and you can also put on automatic, just send the temperatures, and all that will be adjusted by itself. You can sync both the driver and passenger by pushing that button. You can unsync it by either pushing a button or just simply start adjusting this one separately, and it'll unsync it. You have your front and rear defrosters there as well. So down here you have an auxiliary input, USB-C USB inputs here, all backlit, 12-volt power supply, little storage pocket here to put your cell phone or whatever, and it's nice and grippy, rubbery down here. Now this rubber tray, you can remove it and clean it and put it back in, is what it seems. We saw the start button. Here's cup holders. We have more of that simulated carbon fiber around those. And it's open in the middle, so you can utilize the space for more than just cups. So here's your shifter, and a nice comfortable shifter, and it has like a simulated leather here and some stitching and all that. So as we put it in reverse, two things are going to happen. One is the backup camera is going to pop up here, and it has active guidelines that turn as you turn the steering wheel. Also, the second thing will happen is your parking sensors will activate, and it will actually give you a visual indicator here and also an audible beep if there's something back there. And once again, the glare is interfering with the visibility of the backup camera. Neutral, drive, and then you have a low range. So this will give you more engine braking. Now when you're in drive, you can push this button right here, and it'll give you like a sport mode. So it has a little indicator there what gear you're in. So you can see as you push it, it toggles sport motor off, low, neutral, reverse, and then drive. So it shows, park. It shows you, you know, all the gear, what gear you're in and all that stuff. And it is a CVT automatic transmission, but it does simulate gears a little bit. The Xtronic does simulate the stepping of gears a little bit as you're driving, but it's, you know, it's a preference-based thing. There's a little storage pocket here. So here's your armrest, and it's pretty soft. Pretty soft armrest, pretty good size as far as the length. The width is a little bit narrow, so when sharing with your passengers, your passenger over here, it does have a property line. So that way you can keep them on their side and, you know, not encroach on over your property line. And it's indicated by this stitching in a French design. Lift this up, and I like the way it stops. It has a latch, so it keeps it closed, but push the latch and then lift it up, and then it stops wherever you let go of it. So it's not slamming down, which I like. That's as far as it goes. Now that's a little bit of an issue for me, because I have to like reach around it, because it's right where my arm would be. So if it went back a little bit further, it would be nice. And there's a massive well of a storage space. So this is where you can just throw stuff in there and lose it. Because you're going to pile so much stuff in there that trying to find it, you're going to have to shuffle through all this crap. Or you can put one big item in there, you know, like a big thermos or something. But it's pretty cool having a big storage space right there. Lunchbox, that's a good idea. Or a bag. So the rear view mirror is manual day and night mode. Place to put your shades, and nice and big too, and it's has like a felt interior to protect them. It goes all the way here and as well as the back, not just in the back. And it has this foam piece here to keep it from sliding around. Tap lights. Turn on all the interior lights there, or have them turn on with the door, or you can turn that feature off. Default will be on. There's the visor, and it feels like a vinyl type covering on it. Little clip. It has a mirror with no light. It does extend out. Okay, so let's look at the visibility. So it has some small pillars, but a lot of windows. And so I think in this particular vehicle, you know, the headrests don't get in the way that much. The visibility is pretty darn good, especially with the technology helping you out with that. All right, there you have it. Thank you for watching, and thank you to North Strand Nissan for allowing me to show off another awesome vehicle, and I'll see you guys next time.